I never wish anyone has cancer, but I do wish people could experience what it's like to survive cancer, because it is life-altering when you face death like that. I mean, we live in a world where the idea of death is very sanitized, and we do everything we can not to think about it. Particularly at that age where I was in life, death was not what I was focused in on. And all of a sudden, that is thrust upon you, and it's the only thing you can think about. Everything you built up in your life that you thought was meaningful, all of a sudden became meaningless. If you ever think your problems are big, go to an infusion lounge, and it will immediately change your view of the world. And you're in there, and you see folks who have lived really long lives, getting treatment, and you see little children getting treatment. It just forms this bond. I was a sort of a typical 35-year-old lawyer. I was a fairly new partner in the law firm. I was trying to make my way in the law. I knew something was going on. My back was uncomfortable, and I'd had some night sweats, but I just assumed it was something temporary and that I could just sort of work through. And I frankly thought I was sort of too busy to deal with it at that stage. I had a surgeon from UAB, Dr. Warner Huh, as a witness in the case. And so I was preparing him for deposition about this technology that was at dispute in the litigation. Explained my symptoms to him, and he said, "You got to go to the hospital immediately." And it sort of set me back. And I said, "No, we can't do that. We got to put you up for deposition. But if you'll go sit for your deposition, I promise I'll go get checked out, after the deposition." So I did, and went in, and they hospitalized me that night. Originally, they thought I must have a kidney stone, because I was very close to kidney failure at that time, and that's what was causing the back pain. So I went through the procedure. It really wasn't until I awoke from that procedure. I still remember the look my wife had. When I saw Caroline, I knew something was wrong. That was the point. When I look back, that was a point where my life changed. They eventually had to do a surgery with a robot to get to the tumor to test it, and that's when they discovered I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It was stage 4 at that stage. And cancer is so much harder on the family, in my opinion, than it was on me. We were trying to keep it as normal as we could for the children. We didn't tell them until they were much older. All 3 were under 5 years old, but they're smart kids. They're perceptive, so we had to play a little game on them. When I started losing my hair during chemo, I challenged them all to a race with the deal that whoever lost the race, the others would get to shave their hair off. So I have, to this day, my favorite picture is them as happy as they can be shaving my head. What I learned when I had cancer is, one, how many people have been affected by cancer. And so a lot of people reached out that had stories of how cancer had impacted them. Second, what I realized is how valuable a handwritten note is. Just the meaningfulness of that. I got a lot of them that were unexpected, that really treasured. It is important, particularly in this space with cancer, to be able to make changes, both for people we know in town, but from all over the Southeast. The disparity in treatment rates, both across poverty levels, as well as racial differences, is dramatic. You can address those disparities right here. Folks from all over the Southeast can be brought in to participate in these clinical trials and get that change in level of treatment that I was able to get because of the clinical trials that happened before me, that probably had a profound change in my outcome because I was able to get the benefit of the research that was done in those clinical trials. When you do a PET scan, my sort of original picture looked like a Christmas tree. My whole body was lit up. And then he showed me where I was after my final treatment, and nothing was lit up. And so we then hugged my wife, and happily went and rang the bell on the way out.